What's up guys, this is Astranox. This is time for the showcase of Aria with 15 skill ups, and I'll be reviewing her at the same time. I'm voice overing the clips that I've already recorded. It was just better to do it this way actually, because I have a lot of thoughts that I have to let you guys know about, right? So this is gonna be an actual review for this hero, and she's definitely performing real well in a control environment if you pick your battles. But even if you have her against heroes that she's weak against, she does require the help of the team to actually make her shine. So as you can see here, I have her built with quite a bit of defense, over 1800. The health is low, I definitely want more, but I opted for a lot of speed, guys. 243 speed is definitely a lot with for like this low base speed hero, and you have to work on effectiveness as well. I opted for crit and crit damage. I'm trying to show you guys how much damage she's able to deal. And I have her on her own artifact, so I can actually give you guys sort of like a review of her own artifact. And of course, it's going to be good for other heroes. When it's not the hero's turn, you're going to be able to deal more damage with that attack. And also, you always have 50% chance to land a random debuff. Pretty cool artifact, actually. If you're able to remove their immunity, you can definitely cripple the enemy team. The debuffs are pretty solid, actually. So the teams that I'm running her in are teams that sort of like synergize together, right? I'm trying to not get the enemy to go with their skill number 3. I'm protecting my team with skill nullifier, protecting my team with, I mean, she does have defense buff for herself, so that's real good. Right there, I got lucky. I got her lucky because Summertime Ysera can actually remove a buff, and if she does it, she's going to remove the counter attack buff. That is really bad if it happens. You definitely want her to stay with the counter attack buff, with the defense buff, because more defense is more damage, better survivability. And the counters, well, it works hand in hand with her passive. You're actually building focus, and you want to reach that 5 focus, so you get that AoE attack to go off against the enemy, which is gonna get the damage boost from her artifact, and it removes up to 2 buffs off of the enemy. So if they have immunity, right, it can be removed, and then she's gonna be able to push back the combat chance by 30%. And it deals quite a bit of damage. So I was surprised by how much damage she's actually dishing out, because I could have more crit damage on Aria. That's the thing. Keep in mind, I could have more defense. My gear is not perfect. It is, well, it's pretty good, but there's a lot of room for improvement, to be honest, in like a best case scenario. So that's something you can keep in mind. Also, you don't have to build her the same way. Yes, I went for a lot of speed. I mean, over 240 speed is quite a bit, so I'm gonna be able to initiate versus teams that are more like bulky, bruisery teams, right? So that's the good thing. And the fact that she applies barrier and stealth, the stealth is huge, protected from by the barrier, right? It's a big deal. So they're forced to attack her if they have single target attackers, and the damage that she's able to deal is cool. It's pretty high, and the skill 1 attacks 2 targets. So all in all, like in a long battle, in longer battles, she's going to be able to dish out quite a bit of damage, and she can take a punch. Now, of course, she does have weaknesses. Buff block is a big one, guys. It's a huge one. If they're able to remove the buffs off of her, like I said, the counter attack buff, big deal. The defense buff, big deal. If they're able to penetrate defense, she's just going to drop like a fly. That's the thing. You have to keep that in mind, right? But outside of that, if you're able to maybe pump her health, maybe you have health percentage imprint, defense imprint, right? If you're able to keep defense buff on her longer using other heroes, if you have Orius, Adamant Shield, maybe even barrier from other heroes, you have sustain, you got healing from other heroes on your team, all these things will work to keep her alive longer, and of course keep your team alive longer. So as you can see, she's able to deal a nice amount of damage. You will see in other battles as well, she's really able to she's impactful. She definitely is impactful. Now, like I said, you can't just bring her in there versus a team that has like super high base speed heroes, like 128, 129 para, Ran, like they're just gonna open up against you, and then especially if they're able to put buff block on you, it's gonna be bad. Now, there's also the fact that when she uses the skill number 3, you gotta wait. You gotta wait for her to use the skill number 1, unless she builds focus to 5 and she activates, her passive. But she's just gonna be standing there, and hopefully your team is stealthed with barriers, so she's taking some hits, which in turn will activate her counter attack, which means it's skill 1 that attacks 2 of their heroes, building focus, you reach 5, automatically following up with the skill number 2, the passive, that attacks all, remove 2 buffs, push back CR by 30%, and deals quite a bit of damage with her own artifact. I'm really liking the combo of, her counter-attacking with skill 1, attacking 2, and then the passive kicks in. It's a nice amount of burst damage, so that's real cool. And this hero will definitely be working better in a control environment, arena offense, guild war offense. In the RTA, to be honest, it could definitely be pain in the rear to make this hero work, especially if you're trying to pick her early on. It's going to be bad. You have to wait, pick her 4th, pick her 5th, because they're just going to counter you, especially if they bring Earth heroes, which are meta, which are very dangerous. I mean, Rimuru, he could just take the stealth. Imagine Rimuru, right? Oh my god. If Rimuru takes her counter-attack buff, that'd be bad defense buff. If he takes, of course, the stealth of someone on your team, the barrier, that'd be really bad as well. So you gotta watch out for that. Violet is rough, like he's hard to deal with, and if the rest of your team is stealthed, well, Violet will only be able to attack her when it's his turn. But of course, if your team attacks him, AoE attack and stuff like that, it will be triggering him. And Violet, with the defense penetration, yeah, he actually hits really hard. Troublemaker Crozet protecting Aria is a great way to keep her alive longer, having the anti-crit chance buff, and allowing her to have maybe 100% uptime on the defense buff will allow her to stay alive longer unless they have big defense penetration attacks. But yeah, it's definitely working good. I don't per se need healing in those type of fast-paced battles that happen pretty fast. If I'm able to knock out some of the big threats early on, I'm able to disrupt them, it's definitely gonna allow me to stay alive longer and make things happen. But this is, once again, it's a control environment. In RTA, the player can just they got strategies. They're gonna be focusing down certain heroes. They're gonna bring counters. So if you're trying to rely heavily on stealth and barrier, I mean, you can just bring a hero that strips your buffs, a hero that applies unable to buff debuff, and it's sort of like game over unless you bring heroes like Meteor Carrick. If you bring Designer a little bit, you bring a hero that removes all buffs from you, like a fast cleanser before it's Aria's turn, because she's gonna apply buffs on the whole team, then it can definitely work for you. I mean, you could have a Destina faster than her, you could have her build slower, still deal damage, but maybe you opted for defense percentage or health percentage on the main stats of your boots. Maybe you don't even go for damage on your neck. You're really trying to boost her survivability, right? You're going more for utilities with the fact that she can cripple the enemy, push back CR, remove buff with the passive, decrease hit chance, debuff with the skill number 1, plus all the debuffs from her artifact, and then you work on boosting her survivability, and you can still have a decent amount of speed, but you can definitely balance it out and play with different builds with this hero. So she still gets some damage increase from, of course, the skill ups, from the crit chance she gets on the passive, from the crit damage as she loses more health. So it's something to keep in mind. You don't have to per se build high offense on this hero because she does require quite a bit of stats. In the RTA with the Frenzy, building up, you don't need that much effectiveness, so it's a stat that you don't have to heavily invest into. And of course, if you're fighting teams with high effect resistance, you're just not going to be able to make it happen with, your debuffs. So that's another thing to keep in mind. But if you have a team backing her up, and if her skill number 3 actually synergizes with the rest of the team, it allows you to force the enemy to attack her, especially if they have a fire hero. If they don't have any earth hero, it's definitely going to work better for you. Now, Violet is definitely a big deal. Taking him down can definitely be a big grind. And it's long. I have to cut part of the battle because it's just so long to take him down, right? Now, like I said, Rimuru, right? Any sort of green hero could definitely be very dangerous. There's also Landy. She's applying so many buffs on the team and on herself. Landy could just skill 3, soul burn, skill 3, oh man, it would be bad. It'd be bad, and she would be penetrating defense. If she has attack buff, she could be super deadly. Definitely a hero that you have to watch out for. You probably have to ban her, I mean, if it comes down to RTA. So keep that in mind. And in a control environment, you can really pick your battles and bring her where you feel like she's gonna shine the most. Now, this hero can definitely be used in PvE content. With the stealth and barrier, you can definitely force the enemy to attack her. And in PvE content, the encounters don't have that much damage. So forcing the enemy to attack her would be cool. It'd be free damage that you can have happening from, you know, Aria. So that's definitely solid if you're able to make her shine that way. Now, you know, really like RTA, it's gonna be so rough because there's so many battles where you just won't be able to bring her, and you have to wait for the fifth, the fourth pick, like last pick her, right? And there's always the chance that the enemy will just straight up ban her. And if you bring her last and you pick properly, then usually it's gonna be the last picks that one of them is gonna get banned, right? So that's something too. Also, if you're fighting a team that is high speed based, you know, high offense, you're just not gonna get the first turn, especially with Aria. She doesn't even have 110 base speed, guys. It's very easy to just outspeed her. If you're trying to open with Aria, if you have like your best speed gear on her, that is just a major mistake. You should not do that. So just remember that. But she can definitely do quite well. Also, like, you don't need to be like, oh man, they have some AoE damage. Oh, she's not gonna fit too well in there. No, she can actually fit good, because if your whole team is stealthed beside herself, but she's got defense buff, that means you're cutting the damage in half of an attack that hits everyone. Imagine like taking down Arbiter Vildred. He comes back to life, and then like he's gonna deal half damage. Even if like Alexa's Basket triggered, you can definitely boost your team's survivability. And if they cannot break the barrier, then your allies will be staying in stealth. So very powerful right there. And if the battles are short, I mean, you could definitely put her kit to good use still. So let us know what you guys think about all that in the comment section. That's it for this one. I'm Astranox. Good luck with all ya do. Peace out for now.